In the comments section of my video, Educating the EDL and Pat Condell, many angry supporters of both the EDL and Pat Condell argued that Islam is a worse religion than Christianity. I maintain that from a humanist point of view, both the Bible and the Quran are equally horrific, but the EDL Pat Condell supporter point of view seems to be that Islam is worse because of Islamic terrorism. This seems to display a severe ignorance of the existence of Christian terrorism. The Lord's Resistance Army are a Christian terrorist group described by the charity War Child as a movement that, quote, began life in the early 1980s as the Holy Spirit movement, led by a woman called Alice Lakwena, who claimed the Holy Spirit had ordered her to overthrow the Ugandan government, which was accused of treating the Akoli people of the north unfairly. As resentment towards the Ugandan government intensified, supporters flocked to Lakwena and the Holy Spirit movement gathered momentum, until a battle won by the government led to Lakwena's exile. With no clear direction for the movement, a man claiming to be Lakwena's cousin, Joseph Kony, took over as leader and rebanded the movement in 1986 as the Lord's Resistance Army. Kony initially stated that the LRA's mission was to overthrow the government and rule Uganda based on the Ten Commandments. He rapidly lost support, however, and in frustration, Kony began abducting thousands of children to swell its ranks, turning them into killers and unleashing them on villages. End quote. The Orange Volunteers are a Christian terrorist group described by START, the National Consortium for the Study of Terrorism and Responses to Terrorism, as, quote, a loyalist paramilitary organisation operating primarily in Northern Ireland. Formed in the early 1970s, the group is closely associated with the Orange Order, a Protestant fraternal organisation. In addition to maintaining Northern Ireland's ties to the United Kingdom, the OV believe it to be their self-appointed duty to protect Northern Ireland's Protestant population, as well as the Protestant faith as a whole. To this end, in November 1998, the Orange Volunteers declared their first objective was to kill the Republican terrorist members who would be released as part of the peace process. However, the majority of its attacks have been pipe bombings, arson attacks, and assaults targeting Catholic civilian interests such as churches, residences, and businesses. End quote. The IRA are a terrorist organisation, or more aptly a number of terrorist organisations, all claiming ownership of the name, who are fundamentally Catholic and Republican in nature. I should note here that some object to the labelling of the IRA as a Christian terrorist group due to their fraternising with terrorist groups of other faiths. But here's the thing. If Palestinian terrorists still count as Islamic terrorists, even though they've aided the IRA, then surely the reverse should also be true. The National Liberation Front of Tripura are a Christian terrorist group based in Tripura, northeast India, who frequently engage in violence against Hindus and try to convert them to Christianity at gunpoint. They are one of the 10 most active terrorist groups in the world, according to the MIPT. Anders Breivik, the man responsible for the 2011 Norway attacks, described himself as a Christian crusader, and apparently authored a sizable essay on how he believed immigrants were undermining the Christian values of Norway. Huteri are an American Christian terrorist group who in 2010 plotted to kill various police officers. Fortunately, their plans were thwarted by the FBI. The Army of God is also an American Christian terrorist group known for bombing abortion clinics and gay bars. The aim of this video has not been to assert that Christian terrorism is worse than Islamic terrorism. If one is worse than the other, that is a subject for debate. A debate to be had by people far more qualified than both myself and any of the EDL Pat Condell supporters. Rather, I have simply aimed to highlight the fact that it is highly unbalanced to imply Islam is a violent religion, whereas Christianity is a peaceful one. Oh, and by the way, while I'm on the subject, Dusty, these Christians, the ones who aren't cutting your head off or setting fire to you or forcing you to rape and or kill members of your own family, these Christians, Dusty, are not terrorists. Thanks for watching.